Hey guys, I'm the Cement35 and I'm pretty fucking pissed. Alright? I'm really fucking pissed. Excuse the background noise and me walking. I don't feel like setting up this shit for... This is gonna be a quick rant, I hope. Alright, so... Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 came out on the PS4 about a little less than a week ago, like 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, something around that line. It's going to be 5 days, I think, in a little bit. So, yeah, now you know when this was recorded. So, it came out, and let's just say people are having issues with it. Now, 1.5 and 2.5 were not the greatest of ports on the PS3. They had serious issues like load times and reaction command for the final Xemnas fight not working properly because that acid glitch actually gets you killed, and poor optimization leading to some fights being ruined, not to mention bugs and crashes that didn't exist in the original. 1.5 in particular crashes like a motherfucker. I haven't had too much issue with crashes in 1.5 and 2.5, but the fact that they can happen is pretty damn hilariously bad. Also, just to rub salt into the wound, none of these were patched. You'd think they would patch this shit, but apparently Square just didn't have any interest in patching them. They had better things to do, apparently. With the PS4 release, not only was it announced that the games would run at 60 frames per second, it was also announced that there would be a couple of other changes. Apparently, this was what people wanted, and personally, I really wanted it as well, because now that we knew that the 60 frames per second was being added, it means they're going to tweak the game and actually help it run better at 60 frames, because the games were ran at 30, so they would have to design the physics engine and the original game's code around the 60 frames per second. They would actually have to, tinker with it a little bit to get it to run at 60 frames better. They couldn't just add 60 frames and call it a day. And because of that, that means they would go in and tweak certain things about the game, which would make it run better, which means they could possibly fix issues with the PS3 releases. Now, this was actually really exciting for a lot of people, myself included, because after playing Dream Drop Distance on 2.8, which surprisingly handled really well, I was excited to play the other KH games in 60 frames. And after it was released, I saw that the drive loads were so much faster than they'd ever been, and load times were nearly non-existent. Like when you're going to room, the game doesn't even load. It doesn't have a loading screen pop up. At least I don't think it does. Maybe it does for 1 or 2 rooms, but I never saw it. Then I saw more of the game, specifically from Bizkit, and I heard more about it from the Gamers Joint, and then I heard more about it from other people. I actually saw the data organization battles, and Terra, and tons of other shit. And then I realized exactly what the hell was wrong. See, remember when I said that they would have to go back and fuck with the physics a bit and code the game to run 60 frames properly without any problems? Remember when I said they couldn't just slap 60 frames per second on it and just call it a day? Well, for the most part, that's exactly what they did. You didn't bother to maybe play test this shit. Maybe play through all of the games to make sure it runs reasonably. From what I hear, BBS runs okay, minus twisters going... Sorry, I hit the camera by accident. Minus the twisters in the Keyblade Graveyard going way too fast. I can't show footage because I don't have the Japanese version and I can't record footage off of that. And I'm not going to buy it either. I don't feel like buying it. Other than that, apparently the BBS runs fine at 60 frames, so that's good at least. But KH1 and 2? No, not so much. KH1 and 2 run terribly with 60 frames per second. And it's not because of frame drops or frame rate issues. No. The frame rate's actually really stable. Thing is, though, the gameplay isn't. It doesn't fuck up the graphical fidelity or anything like that. It doesn't fuck with the game's performance. It fucks up with the game's gameplay. The actual game is fucked up by the physics, especially KH2. Whereas with KH2, there are numerous things wrong with it. And to be fair, KH1 is not out of this either, because with KH1, certain animations are suffering due to the 60 frames per second update. Sephiroth's meteor attack in KH1 goes way too fast. And not to mention with Kingdom Hearts 2 in particular, a lot of the data organization battles, some of my favorite boss fights in video game history, by the way, are ruined. Like, for the most part, like, stuff like Lexius and Roxas aren't too bad, but then there's stuff like Data Vexen, which is nearly I think it's pretty much impossible for level 1 critical mode, unless someone's proven me wrong. There probably is someone who is daring enough to actually do it. Because with Data Vexen, the boss fight pretty much starts off with him collecting data on you. This data is charged over the course of the fight. When the data bar is full, an anti-Sora clone pops up and starts kicking your ass, and you have to destroy it because it's a distraction, and it's annoying. But that's how the boss fight works. Okay, fine. I rolled with it in the original because that was how the boss fight was. It's just a thing that you had to get rid of. Not to mention, you also have to destroy Vexen's shield before you can hit him, which makes sense because, well, that's what a shield is supposed to do. However, now, because of the 60 frames per second, the bar moves way too fast, to the point where Anti-Sora pretty much is there the entire time. The entire time. Not even the data organization battle in the original 2FM, at 30 frames per second, ran that fast. It didn't go that fast at first. To the point where pretty much players are forced to spam reflect because they can't do anything, or maybe just use a limit to make sure they can get temporary invincibility, and even then it's only temporary. And they have to give up their MP, which means they give up Piraga, which means they die. Certain strats don't work anymore, certain things don't work due to the fucked up physics, and look, I don't care if they take out speedrunning strats, that's fine, I don't give a shit. What I do give a shit about is when the performance of the game is terrible. You know, stuff like Quick Run and Glide don't go nearly as far because of the 60 frames per second and the physics changes that they bring. You know, the game, from what I hear, has some control issues because of it, and the crashes and bugs that came in 1.5 and 2.5 weren't fixed. As if that wasn't enough, the biggest flick in the nuts that I've seen is there's actually more crashes and bugs than the PS3 version. It's more unstable. How did you fuck this up so bad? You fucked up the game so much that they're nearly unplayable now at level 1. I don't see how you could beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 at level 1 anymore. Like, I'm sure for casual experience it's not too bad, but there's still going to be really unfair difficulty spikes, especially with the secret bosses later on, because you fucked up the game so much now. I'm lucky I have the PS3 ports because, honestly, if they don't fix this shit, and if they don't fix it soon, I'm not buying the PS4 version. I have it pre-ordered, and you know what? I'm actually debating canceling my pre-order just because of this shit. Square Enix, I know I'm some fucking chucklehead nobody on YouTube, but I'm telling you right now, for your own best interest, fix this shit! It is unacceptable that you have this product be... Okay, maybe saying it's an unplayable mess is a little harsh, but it's pretty damn close at points. The fact that you leave it in such a piss-poor condition, the fact that you fucked up the game so much and you didn't bother to spend any time on playtesting it and seeing if there wasn't anything you could do to fix it, the fact that you have the games in the sorry state that they're in and that you didn't fix the bugs from the previous remaster that you made a couple years ago. You could have easily fixed this shit. You could have easily fixed half of this shit. And you didn't. You were lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. And it's unacceptable from a company that has as much money as you. I guess that's just the way we're supposed to play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 now. Well, you know what? Fuck you. I have the PS3 versions. Look, 2.5 may have its issues with loading and optimization, and I'm not defending them, but at least I can play the boss fights and still have a good time with 2.5 in spite of its issues. That's not excusing them by any means. No, the issues shouldn't be there they shouldn't be there regardless, but at least I can play the games properly. I can't do it with this version. So honestly, like, maybe I'll get it used if I want to record footage for my retrospective, but I'm not buying it. If anything, my retrospective's gonna have to be delayed because of that, because I don't want to buy these ports at full price. Fuck no. People are going to be introduced to Kingdom Hearts with these ports because every Kingdom Hearts game is going to be playable on the PS4, except where they're getting probably one of the worst experiences possible for these games. So yeah, hashtag fix Kingdom Hearts. If that hashtag doesn't exist yet, I'm going to create it and I'm going to link it everywhere. Seriously, hashtag fix Kingdom Hearts. It's unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable. I'm the Seaman235. I don't feel like giving this an outro. Bye.